All right. Hello. Happy Tuesday. Hi, Jillian. How are you?
I'm wonderful, thank you. Happy Tuesday.
Good. For those of you just logging on, I'm excited to chat today about ballroom weddings. My name is Liz Pruitt, and I am the Boston-based planner with Mavinhouse Events. And this is actually our first webinar of 2023. So I'm excited to chat here with Jillian Nichols. She is the Director of Catering and Conference Services at the Langham in Boston. And for those of you who haven't watched a webinar before, I am, like I said, one of the Boston-based planners. I live in Cambridge, and Maven House has a team of planners all throughout the New England region and also Charleston, South Carolina. So we offer everything from full service wedding planning to day of management. So I'm just going to see as we have people logging on here, I'm just going to check. It looks like we have people starting to trickle in. So I'll just sort of get us started with a little intro about Jillian. So Jillian, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and your role at the Langham?
Sure. I started in events back in 2005. I've worked for hotels since I was in high school, actually. It was not the plan to be my career, but then I got the event bug and couldn't get out.
Yep.
It's been an amazing ride. I've been all over. I started my career just outside of Boston.
Okay.
And then I've been all over Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut. I did a little time in Florida.
Oh,
For all high-end luxury resorts and hotels.
awesome. Awesome. Well, we're excited to chat about the Langham specifically today. I know there has been a lot of renovations kind of, post-COVID, and, the team and I were actually just chatting. We saw obviously a lot of outdoor weddings with COVID, but now, headed into 2023, ballroom weddings are back and better than ever. So super excited to, talk about the different things you can do in a ballroom, and would love to hear your take on, things that couples should consider when they're looking at ballroom, and, just sort of what you would say is important with a ballroom wedding, or, appeals to couples.
Of course. So talking about the Langham, I've been at the Langham for 7 years. So pre and post renovation. I was here at the hotel in 2019 when we closed and shut our doors. I stayed on as part of the opening team. We opened or reopened, I should say, in June of 2021. Since then, we've done over 20 weddings in the new ballrooms and event spaces. It has been absolutely amazing. It is definitely back on trend, and we've seen just amazing decor and styles and had such beautiful couples, and it's been really a fun ride. The Langham Hotels and Resorts put hundreds of millions of dollars into the hotel. Not only did they renovate the event space, but all of our guest rooms, our restaurants, our Langham Club, our pool, our fitness center. So it is an entirely new building, although it holds on to its history. The building was built in Boston in the 1920s. It used to be the Federal Reserve Bank. So we have a lot of nods to the bank and a lot of history throughout the hotel, but we also have amazing contemporary modern decor and style.
Yeah, definitely. And I remember thinking that too when I was there a few months ago with my colleague Christina, and we met with you, and it's so cool when you walk in. You have that, it has the lower ceilings a little bit, like you feel like you're in an old bank, that entryway. So, and you guys,
that entryway, part of the reason why the ceilings are so low is because there is vaults that still exist in the bank, and it didn't make sense to take them out. And so the hotel is like built around things that came with the bank. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And then, yeah, obviously the ballrooms, like you said, have been renovated and are beautiful. I think really have that. You have some that obviously have kind of the old Boston vibe, but then, with the modern touches, like you talked about. So actually, I'm going to pull up. I just feel like it would be helpful for us to see a little visual here of what the ballrooms look like. So give me a moment and I'm going to share my screen because I think it's helpful to see. I think it's helpful just to sort of see what some of these rooms look like. Obviously, like we talked about, you have a variety of ballrooms. So you can tailor the event based on what, vibe the couples are going for. So I'd love to sort of hear your thoughts on, what's more popular. What do you see is used most often for the ceremony versus reception, and just sort of chat about the various rooms.
100%. I do. The Wilson Ballroom is mostly used for reception.
Mhm.
We have dinner, reception, and dancing in that space typically. Although we do have some couples that'll use that entire space for dinner and then have dancing in the Lincoln Ballroom.
Okay.
Which has been really fun and is a nice and easy transition. As you know, the whole second floor is connected, and so it's easy to move through space to space. The Lincoln Ballroom is also used for many of our ceremonies. And then on occasion we're still having some intimate weddings. So that ballroom can host 80 with the dance floor. And so we've had also some intimate weddings in there. I think that, the great thing about our ballrooms is they both complement each other. There's, amazing ceiling height, chandeliers, the gold touches, the marble pieces, the mirrors, and they both have neutral tones.
Yeah.
So it's nice because you can really make them your own.
Yep.
And it's interesting when couples walk through how they're like, oh, I want to do this here or that there, which spaces really speak to them for their vision. That promenade space that you have up is really gorgeous cocktail hour space that's used mostly in conjunction with the Wilson Ballroom. It's over 3,000 square feet. It has views of the Norman B. Leventhal Park. And it's a really fun space to kick off your event in.
Definitely. Yeah. I love the Lincoln Ballroom, especially. I think, the very subtle, you can kind of see it in this picture here, but just the very subtle touch of blush in the carpet, just sort of a nod to the Langham's colors. I love that. And I think it's just such a chic space.
It really is. And that skylight in there is such a statement piece. And we've seen people do flower installations around that, twinkle lights inside there. On its own, it's just gorgeous. So it's a beautiful space. We're very blessed.
Yeah. And another space that I just want to bring up here too, you had shared picture. I think the width is so cool. Just it's such a different space compared to the others. So really a fun vibe for Friday night, or if you want to move in there for cocktails or something. Is that what you normally see it used for?
Absolutely. It's definitely used for welcome receptions. It's used for rehearsal dinners, post-wedding brunches. Occasionally, with a smaller, more intimate wedding, it's used for cocktail hour along with the foyer. It's deceiving in this picture, but it can fit 100 people reception style in space. Obviously, the ceiling is the highlight.
Yeah,
gold
definitely.
Ceiling. It's a highlight for everyone that comes through the hotel and tours. It is original to the bank. It used to be the president of the bank's office. So it's just a really gorgeous space. And it also has views of the park, which is so lovely.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I'm just going to pull up too. I thought you shared this with me. And I just think this is, for people who might not be able to visualize what they can do with a room, I think this is a really cool example on Party Slate. of, how lighting makes such a difference, floral. I mean, this is just such a statement in that room. So it's really cool to see these examples.
They were an absolutely gorgeous couple, two
Yeah.
gentlemen with just an amazing vision, and they had such a romantic wedding. I mean,
Yeah,
it's just
yeah,
breathtaking. That flower installation,
really cool.
so cool.
Yeah, so it must be fun for you. I mean, obviously, I know it is for us. So it's obviously fun for you too to kind of see the different, the different designs that couples bring in, and you can really transform the space.
It's so fun to see every time.
Yeah, yeah.
It's what keeps us doing this. It's the most fun part, to watch their personalities and their style come to life in the space.
Yeah, absolutely. Are there any other, I think that one I just showed was really, very bold and really cool. Any other exciting or cool installations that you've seen, or color palettes?
Our first wedding that we had when we opened, the husband to be built the aisle in the Lincoln Ballroom,
Wow.
with a mirrored top. It was absolutely breathtaking, and it was surrounded by roses. It was so dreamy and elegant and stunning. And it had a big circle at the end. So they came down the aisle, and then they had this like gorgeous space that they got married in under the skylight. And it was just amazing. It was really, really super fun. And it's always a little scary, like the husband's coming in with these like boards and he's like, I'm just gonna build it. And I'm like, what is happening? And it turned out it looked like a picture in a magazine. It was absolutely stunning.
I love that. Yeah, it's so cool to see these designs come to life, and just, every couple's different. So really having those personal touches, and the fact, obviously, in that one he built it is really cool to see.
Yeah, so special, right?
Yeah, definitely. And something I know we were talking about earlier that I think is exciting for the Langham. Obviously we've talked about the rooms, and you have a variety to offer. Your menus too. You obviously have your in-house culinary team. And it sounds like you have some exciting new features, like the family style dinner, or, new brunch menus offerings. Can you talk to me a little bit about that?
Yeah, I'd love to. Our culinary team is so talented. And they're also very, very collaborative, which is so nice. Like, we can come to them and just say, hey, we need this, or our guests are asking for this. And they're like, we'll help you design it. They also work with us on our couples that have a vision. So, we have a wedding package, and we give an outline and help our couples know what direction to go in and help them with what they need. But we've had couples come to us saying, Boston or New England is important to us, and we want a very New England themed menu, or we're Italian and we have to have a pasta dish to give our guests, in addition to the other courses. And, we had one recently that really wanted a lemon sorbet, and it was so
yum.
they cupped out individual lemons for everyone and made the sorbet and put it back in the lemons with the lemon leaves, and it was such a beautiful display and something they really wanted. We also had a couple that lived in various locations throughout the United States, Singapore.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really cool. So we themed all their canapes and all their desserts based on places they had lived. So it was like California, Texas, Singapore, Boston. I feel like I'm forgetting one or two, but it was really fun. And the culinary team is so open to that. They have
That's huge.
Time with it. We had fun with the couples tasting. And then I was telling you that Brana inspired family Italian style dinner is really popular. It's such a great welcome night dinner. It's different than the dinner you're having on Saturday because typically that's plated, 3 or 4 courses, whereas this is really more fun. It's like large platters, and everybody gets to pass it around, and it's like you're at your family table with your friends and family.
Yeah.
And yeah, we try to customize everything to really showcase what the hotel can do and give our guests the best experience.
And that's huge because I feel like, so many couples do want to infuse their own taste into their menu, and knowing that they're not locked into just sort of a prefixed banquet menu, that you're open to customizing and bringing in that. I think that's awesome. For our listeners who maybe aren't familiar with ballroom weddings, just to sort of give a very quick Spark Notes version. Obviously, hotel weddings are going to include your tables, your linens, your chairs. They have, like Jillian was saying, there's the in-house culinary team. So just a lot is there to give you, you don't have to outsource as much. Whereas when we do these tented weddings, you're definitely, a lot of your budget is going to things like bringing in the ovens for the caterers and the tables and the chairs and the generators and restroom trailers. So you definitely can really, have a little bit more of a budget for those design elements when you're at a hotel. And then I would say one of, correct me if I'm wrong, another big perk is you don't have to stress about the weather. So
that's 100% true.
Yeah.
Temperature control. A lot of our couples go out to the park to take photos, but they've even done that in the rain with a cute umbrella and just taking a shot and come in. But year round, whether you're going outside to take photos or not, inside the hotel is temperature controlled. You have a view of the park and you have a view of the outside, a city view from the Wilson Ballroom, but you're in a nice, comfortable space and your guests are comfortable. Nobody's hot or cold. Right. Everybody's comfortable, which is really nice. And, we can drop the temperature when it's fun on the dance floor because
Exactly.
Everyone can use a little extra air when they're partying.
Yeah. And I mean, it's a huge perk too for guests who, are staying to the last song on the dance floor. They can just walk to their hotel room at the end of the night. So that's definitely another perk.
100%. And both our ballrooms have their own separate elevator. So if you have elderly guests, your grandparents that need that extra support, we have that available. Or the groomsmen that went skiing the weekend before your wedding, as long as we can take care of him. We have backup plans for everything here.
Yeah, the guest experience is really a priority, and that's something that the Langham really accommodates, and it's great to sort of think about all those benefits. And I'm just looking here. I actually got a couple questions. This is a good question actually that just came into our chat. So how often does Langham do multiple weddings in one day? Do you take more than one wedding? And if you do you make sure that the client feels, that sense of exclusivity within their space?
So we're really blessed with the second floor space. That Wyeth room, Lincoln, has its own staircase and its own side of the second floor, and then Wilson Promenade has its own marble staircase and separate entrance. We can keep those completely separate. So it is rare that we would have two. If we would have two separate staffs. They would each have their own wedding expert on site to work with their planner or their professional vendor team. Also stagger the times so that we'd have two kitchen staffs and we have enough of everything, but just so that we know for 100% sure that both are going to get the same exact perfect service, we would stagger the times a little bit. I would say it's unlikely. Most of the time we only host one. There are occasions, I would say like December, where there's a wedding and a holiday party. But
Sure.
again, we have banquet staff dedicated to each event. We have our team separated for both events. We would still stagger the times of a dinner service. So, we work together as a team to make sure that anytime we're hosting two events, that or multiple events, that everyone has exactly what they need and gets the service that they expect from them.
Yeah, that's great. And what would you say is the top reason a couple should consider a ballroom wedding? Is there something, that stands out in your mind?
Yeah, I think there's a few really important ones. I would say your budget is the number one, where
Yep.
you can just, because we supply so many things for you, you can really stretch your budget. Also, depending on what type of wedding weekend you're looking for, are specifically city weddings, and the Langham is in downtown. Your guests can walk over to the aquarium or the North End, and they get to see a little bit of Boston, and you're not incurring those costs for
That's a great point,
transportation.
because transportation can add up quickly.
Transportation can add up quickly, and it's not the most fun thing to spend your money on.
Right.
But your guests need to get where they need to go.
Right.
So if you have everything centrally located, that's money that you can save that you can use towards your decor. I would also say the experience for both you and your guests, I would say it's less stressful. Everybody comes in, they get to check in early. They're typically here on Friday. While you're getting ready and doing all the fun things that you need to do. One, you don't have to move around. You just stay right in the hotel. All your hair and makeup and stuff comes to you here, which is a really lovely experience for you and your wedding party. But your guests are like going to brunch at Grana and going shopping and running down to Newberry Street and then coming back to get ready for your wedding. So they get to enjoy a little bit of what Boston has to offer. And then I would also say the service, right? Our service is seamless. Our food is going right from the kitchen to the ballroom. Everything's going to come out hot or cold like it's supposed to, and not that you can't get that experience. We have amazing caterers in the city, but it's just much harder for them to execute at the level that the Langham can, because everything's centrally located and we have systems and plans in place that aren't changing based on venue, because the ballrooms still move, which is great.
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, as a planner too, your previous point, when we're building out timelines, and we definitely lose a lot of time during the day thinking about transporting the couple. So that means hair and makeup is starting at the crack of dawn, because we have to get them, ready in time to get them on the shuttles, to get them to the venue. So we definitely, our couples get a little extra sleeping hours when they're at a hotel.
Yeah, I just feel like they get to be more relaxed. They get to enjoy their time with their friends and family, right? Because even getting ready, they get to, we'll bring private kitchen to your room and you can just dine at your leisure and everybody comes to you, and it saves you a lot of as there's a lot of details in planning a wedding, and it kind of cuts out that part of the logistics and stress. You're just being taken care of by the Langham team, which is really nice. And we have everything on site, right? So people have called down and been like, I need a steamer, I need a safety pin,
or a toothbrush.
I need a toothbrush, I need a tie. I mean,
Or,
we've had people forget their wedding license at home. We've ran to their apartment and grabbed it for them. You get a certain level of service, and you have a supportive team around you to help execute your day.
That's actually
built in.
Yeah, exactly. And that actually just made me think of, I know we had our Charleston planner was in town, and she stayed at the Langham, and I loved hearing you have scented pillowcases, I think she said. which I thought was such a fun touch. And she was like, I get to pick the scent of my pillowcase.
You do. I think, it's we care about every experience that our guest has in the hotel. And we have Langham pink is our color, which you had talked about earlier. We have Langham pink water bottles in here and turn down service with lovely little chocolates and the weather and information about the city. It's a whole package that both you and your guests get when you come here. And it's a special experience.
Yeah, I love it. And just going off some more questions that I'm getting here in the chat, what would you say is the biggest misconception couples have about planning a ballroom wedding?
Oh, I would say for sure they think it's cookie cutter. Which is not at all the case. Like I said, we first of all, they bring their own vibe and style and decor. You can look through our galleries on Party Slate and no wedding looks the same. They all have their own signature. They all have their own style and feeling. And then also, with the chef being so creative and helping create those moments, there's a lot of ways that we can personalize the event for you. We've done we also have a really amazing team that does mixology on site, and they will build cocktails for you or mocktails. We've done them based on people's dogs' personalities, and for people who have passed, dad's favorite drinks or grandparents' favorite drinks. We really have a lot of fun with it.
Yep.
You get to come in and taste them and try it and tweak it, and it's a really fun experience. So there's a lot of ways that we can personalize it to you, and I would say it's not all cookie cutter, but that is definitely a misconception.
Yep, I think I would agree with that. I feel like that's what I've heard too. And then, like you said, there's just so many, between design and food, and there's just a lot of ways that you can really tailor it to the couple. And as a planner, that's our job too, to get to know the couple and how can we tie in, what's important to them or their favorite things to their wedding day. So that's definitely.
You guys also curate their vendor team.
Exactly.
And each individual vendor team brings something different
Mm-hmm.
to a wedding for that couple. First of all, we have, amazing wedding professionals in Boston, and they all want to customize their products to the couples that they're working with. And then when you mix them up differently, you just get a different result. So it's really amazing what we can accomplish.
Definitely. And, something I know you had mentioned you started offering is partnerships with different vendors. So when a couple signs on with the Langham, they, obviously get your preferred list. And it sounds like you have some relationships established with vendors too, to offer some specials.
Yeah, it's amazing. In our wedding brochure, we have so we have gifts that come from the Langham. Like signature Langham robes with your names on them.
Love it.
Because, of course you need that.
Yes, everyone needs that.
But then we also have amazing gifts from our partners, and those could range from before you even get to the Langham. So for example, we have a partnership with Dream Spa.
Cool.
They have a couple of locations.
Okay.
I forget where their new one is, but they have one in Canton, they have one in Brookline, but they'll take care of getting you ready for the wedding and doing all the things you need before you even walk in the doors. And then we have other partners with J-Pod Films, for example, will do an Instagram reel for you, complimentary, if you book with Jamie and with us at the Langham, and lots of other partnerships like that. So we have everything from DJs to transportation to hair and makeup, and those are just a limited amount of our partnerships. I would say, our partners is what made our wedding for our couple, and so they're very important to us. We have really strong relationships And we want to invite them into the hotel and make them feel comfortable and give them what they need to make the day beautiful for who we're all working for.
Yep. Yep. Wonderful. Yeah, I love all of that. And just sort of thinking, you know, kind of ending on a fun note here as we wrap up, what is your personal favorite thing about Boston or the Langham? You know, what do you love about our city?
I love the seasons.
Yes. Yep.
And I don't think there's any bad season to get married.
No, there's not. I mean, yeah.
Bring something fun and different.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I think we were chatting earlier. I love a New Year's Eve wedding, and I think a hotel, there's something so chic and romantic about, you know, a winter or New Year's Eve wedding at a hotel.
100%. We had one this year and it's so glamorous. Everyone was in black tie and everyone's so excited to have something really fun to do on New Year's Eve. So it's such a great time to host a wedding. And I love everybody pulling up in their, you know, black cars and getting out in their gorgeous outfits and mink coats. Right. And we, you know, we usher them in and hang their coats up and send them up to the ballroom for an amazing cocktail and lovely food. And it's just such a great way to kick off the new year.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Jillian. Is there anything I didn't touch on today that you wanted to add for our listeners?
No, I would just say that, you know, we have a very talented city. And Boston is a wonderful place to get married, and you're going to be very well taken care of and have an amazing experience. And I think it's super cool to have a city wedding.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do just want to add the Langham. It sounds like you still have some available dates for 2023. So for couples who maybe just got engaged over Valentine's Day, you know, we definitely still have some date options out there for you.
We do. We are filling up, but we do have some prime dates available, definitely through spring, summer, and fall.
Fall.
Yeah, the fall, we still have a few dates open. And December, we have some great dates open. So we're really excited. And then for 2024, I think we have 4 booked. So definitely getting a lot of activity for 2024 and a great, amazing availability there.
Great. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. It was so great chatting today. And for those of you who maybe joined late or want to rewatch, we will have it posted on our YouTube later this week. And certainly please follow the Langham on Instagram at Langham Boston. As well as Mavinhouse. It's Mavinhouse_events. And then mine is Liz_Mavinhouse on Instagram. So thank you so much, everyone. You know, if you want to chat planning, you can schedule a free consultation with Mavinhouse. And if you're interested in a ballroom wedding, please reach out to either of us, and we would love to chat more. So thanks again, Jillian.
Thank you.
Bye.